We need to get on our Patreon account again and our OnlyFans account. We haven't been on there in a while.
Yeah, I haven't uploaded anything to OnlyFans in a few weeks.
I know the fans have been kind of bummed out. They keep requesting our expertise,
our feet pics.
Angry boy.
It's crazy how many of you want us to stomp on birthday cakes.
Do you want to hear about the Facebook drama right now?
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of funny because this is local drama pertaining to our hometown in Guttenberg.
Okay.
And the drama is apparently the restaurants or maybe city council is complaining that food trucks are coming to town from like Dyersville or Dubuque and stealing the money, you know what I mean? And they want to ban food trucks. So people on Facebook, who you know, are going on here like, what the heck, like competition's competition. Like, what do you want? You know, you're going to ban food trucks?
Yeah, these are the same people that are proud to live in a capitalist society, and now they're banning food trucks. Yeah. Fucking losers.
Literally, right? Literally. If
be better. If you wanna get the money yourself, then maybe create your own food truck.
Can you imagine if Cafe Mississippi was a food truck? Which, this is a restaurant that Cody and I worked at together.
Right, yeah.
And we have seen it go through 10 different owners, and it's beautiful. It's right on the river. It's got 2 levels, restaurant and bar, and the only thing that can stay open is the dang bar. Every time the restaurant's gotten taken over, it's just gone under every time. But you can think like, okay, if a bar works there, make the bar bigger. And if you want a restaurant, maybe a restaurant in that little town, it has to be a food truck because they can't have a dishwasher and 4 servers and you know,
yeah, exactly.
Light bill and
there's no
rent.
way to make enough money to pay for all those things.
Yeah, I mean, if you just had to pay that one loan off on your truck and you're paying for yourself and maybe one helper, or if it's your spouse or something, then you won't have to pay anybody. Like that's like, it's like the future. And you're like, no,
you're refusing to evolve.
We need Cafe Mississippi to fail a few more times here.
I need to bitch about the things that succeed.
Yeah, you know, it blows my mind. You're just like, it's like, do we have to bring that up again? Do you guys remember that that's failed 14 times? Were you just waiting for like the smartest person to manage that properly? Because it's such a seasonal business. In the wintertime, it's just dead, man.
I'm so confused. Like, so a food truck comes into Guttenberg. Obviously, a lot of people are using it. So who are the people that are complaining about it? Like, literally just the owners of these restaurants?
I know. I mean, that's why I'm assuming it has to do with some sort of city council or something, because I know, like, there's a Subway in that little town. I know for that to come to town, that had to get approved by the city and all that. But I don't know. There is a small handful of restaurants, and I don't know what kind of pull they have in the town. You know what I mean? It's so interesting how a small town
I totally
works.
understand like that they're upset because, you know, Guttenberg is this town of less than 2,000. So when money leaves the town, you're like destroying this like little micro economy.
Yeah.
But still, just make your own food truck.
That's exactly what my answer was like, anybody in Guttenberg can make their own food truck. I don't know. I don't understand. My idea was somebody should make a Pup Hut food truck and park it behind Casey's.
Yeah.
Which Pup Hut was the one burger shop in Guttenberg was successful for years because they made a great burger and fries and milkshake and ice cream, and it was just a tiny little hut.
It was essentially a food truck that didn't move.
Literally, like, it was already a food truck, but it was on. They were kind of smart, and they actually bought the land that it was on, and it was a small piece of land. But what ended up happening is this small piece of land got a gas station built on it, and right next to it, a Casey's, and eventually the Casey's bought them out, and they made a lot of money on the deal. But everybody misses that burger shack. Like, there's no place to get a burger. There's a great pizza place, There's a Subway. There's a little breakfast shack, and then there's like maybe one place to get a burger, the stadium, I guess. You know, I don't know where else would you? I mean, so what? Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there should be. This is the dumbest argument, man. I'm just so surprised at what I don't even know what these old people would be arguing about. You know,
I assumed that your Facebook drama news was going to evolve around like Alex Jones or something. Have you been following that at all?
Oh, I just saw the one story about his lawyers fucking up. That's all I saw.
They accidentally gave the plaintiff's lawyers 300 gigabytes of data when they were only supposed to give the messages or something like that.
That basically proves that he committed perjury, I believe.
Right, yeah.
Which, to tell you the truth, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I don't even know what perjury is. Do you know what?
Lying under oath.
Oh,
so he
okay.
In his deposition, I guess those lawyers asked, did you receive any text messages about Sandy Hook? And he said no. And then his lawyers accidentally gave like a full clone of his phone over. And the lawyer saw that he had received messages about Sandy Hook. And then the lawyer's like, I know that you've lied to me now. You've committed perjury.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I saw that a little bit. I just, I'm not really an Alex Jones follower at all.
Yeah.
So this is just a random story that I did see. The other story that's popping in the news now is this WNBA player that's in Russia. And
I imagine that's got people heated on Facebook.
Well, she went to I'm gonna have to look the story up again, honestly, because she went to Russia and she had like a vape pen or something, and they found it and they convicted her of 9 years in prison for like drug trafficking. Yeah.
So the way I understand it is a lot of these like semi-pro or even like the women's pro basketball teams players, they don't make enough money on season.
Yeah.
Or if they want to make more money, they just go to other countries in the off season and play for other teams.
Oh.
So I think that's why she was in Russia. And then they found a vape pen on her. And look, other countries have stricter laws. So they just sentenced her to 9 years.
I don't
but
really
didn't we trade? We traded like an arms dealer for her, didn't we? Did you hear about that?
No, I have no idea.
Apparently, did you ever see the Nicolas Cage movie, like God of War? Not God of War. I don't remember what it was called. Something.
The one about with all the weapons. And
he was an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Okay, so that movie is based off of a Russian prisoner we have who was an arms dealer, and we are trading that guy for this. I don't know her name.
Gina.
Her name is like
Brittney Griner.
Yeah, we're trading the arms dealer for her.
The only thing I could think of is like, I'm calling it right now. In 10, 20 years, this is going to be a movie. And it's going to be, this chick goes to prison.
It's going to be a sequel to Lord of War. He's getting traded.
She's got to go to prison and start a women's basketball team in Russia. And then she has to compete against the other Russian prisons.
Oh.
For her freedom.
I actually like this movie.
Yeah. Well,
it's very much The Longest
They're
Yard.
going to have to definitely replace all them women with men for people to watch it. But yeah, it's going to be good.
Is that what that movie was called? The Longest Yard, where it was the same concept but football?
With football, yeah.
It could easily be a movie. I prefer the Lord of War sequel where we actually just follow him and he's in prison and then he gets traded back to Russia and then immediately starts arms dealing again.
That's it.
I'm curious why Russia would want him back. Maybe he still has connections.
What are you doing? I'm curious how she even got to Russia. Isn't there like she had to take a private plane? You know what I mean? Like you can't just hop on the United and go to Russia right now. She must take
because of a war. Because there's a war happening.
Oh man, it's so funny. I mean, it's sad, but it's also like, what were you doing? Anyways, I mean, yeah, I guess maybe she was getting paid more, but
I very fearful of bringing drugs across state lines, let alone
dude.
into a new country.
Dude, I know. Like, I've seen these TikToks of like people saying that you can bring vape pens and stuff, and I'm just like,
To where?
on
On a plane without getting caught?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Have you ever been sniffed out by a drug dog at the airport?
No.
There was, what country was it? Was this in America? I can't remember if I was in the U.S. or the Netherlands.
Well,
But-
a different country is different, I believe. I don't know.
It might have been the
I think
U.S.
it's a lot more relaxed here in America now, but go on.
It might have been in Texas, actually.
Okay.
If I really think about it, I think it might have been in Texas. But everyone's getting in the line, to go through the X-ray scanners.
Yeah.
And right before the X-ray scanners, there's a break in the line, and there is a room that you have to walk through, and there's a guy with a drug dog, and you have to walk through this room alone, and the guy and the drug dog just like are doing circles around you
Yeah.
as you catch up to the other line that goes through the.
They used to have something similar here in Denver,
Okay.
but as you go down the lines through to get to give them your ticket and your ID, and then take off all your shoes and stuff to go through the scanner. Right before that, they just had one long row, and it would be like a couple people at a time, and the dog would just kind of walk up and down the row. And there was a story of a couple months ago saying that they were going to stop doing that. And then I've also heard people saying that the dog's really just been trained to sniff out bombs and is not supposed to be doing drugs. But then I've also seen TV of like them obviously sniffing out drugs. So I
guess explosives make sense, but once I had gotten through and I was freaking out just because I'm paranoid, like
sure.
I'm gonna get bit by a dog. But
I'm not worried about that.
But like
they're just gonna sit down, and then the guy there is gonna be like, he's gonna be putting the glove on. He's gonna be checking your butthole. That's what I'd be scared.
So after you get through that, the line wraps back around, and for a very long time, you get to watch other people walk through this line. Mm-hmm. And I guess to make sure that the dog is functioning and also to reward it for working, they plant whatever the dog's smelling on somebody. Not like the person knows. So like
it's like
right before you walk in the room, the guy was handed something
like part of training
to put in his
almost.
pocket.
Yeah.
And then you got to watch the dog like signal that this guy has something in his pocket.
Sure.
But how lucky would it be if you had the bomb in your bag and you were handed the fake device and you're like, oh, I got lucky.
Oh, it's handed to a normal person? I thought this person was working for the airline.
Yeah, it's handed to a normal person. This guy had a bag and he had to wait in line with all of us.
Weird.
But he also had to be on display as the dog signaled that he was carrying.
I don't want to be your experiment training. That's the one time the dog decides he's gonna fucking fuck you up for some reason.
Yeah, the dog is like watched World Police too many times, and he really just hates
I'm
terrorists.
gonna take care of this guy myself this time, boys.
I got it.
Yeah. Oh no. I don't know, man. I've never taken anything on the airplane before. I'm too paranoid too. It's not really worth the risk. It's like, I don't want to get put in some fucking airplane room somewhere and people are going to frisk me and all this shit, dude. I don't know. No. Not worth it.
I had taken, theoretically or allegedly or in Minecraft, whatever you want to say, but there's some pothos above you that I had clipped from Mexico. And I may have brought that with me. And I was so fucking scared on that plane ride. I was terrified. Like, I'm importing exotic plants or something, like some stupid shit that I'll probably get in trouble for.
I think there was one time I did something like that, like I snuck an orange or apple in or something, and from Hawaii or something, you have to fill out all these forms, like you're not supposed to bring any fruit back. And
right.
I actually was thinking about bringing a couple of plants back in some water just because the vegetation there is so crazy, and I was wondering if I could clone a few of these plants.
I wrapped it in a wet paper towel and I put it like at the bottom of my backpack, and it survived.
Yeah, as long as you just don't say you have it, you're fine.
Yeah. I imagine they went through an X-ray and it looks like vines and shit all in my backpack. They just don't even care.
Souvenir.
Yeah.
That's not I wasn't gonna replant that or anything. I was gonna frame it.
Yeah. I was gonna immediately burn it or something.
I brought cocaine back from Peru.
A plant? A cocaine
Actual
plant?
cocaine.
How'd you do that?
It's in a little tea bag, and you're allowed to have tea, like a box of like cocaine leaves is fine, but it's not processed or anything.
Oh.
So I actually have the cocaine leaves right now. Like if you want to try to process it, we'd make like a speck of cocaine.
No, it's cool. We don't have to make cocaine, but we don't have to do that.
I'm curious about the process.
But they drink it as a tea. You can put it in like a little tea bag, and that would be cool to drink.
Well, I'll bring you one time. It's just it doesn't taste very good. It tastes like a plant, and it has a fairly decent amount of caffeine compared to normal tea.
Our next podcast, we're like sitting like I'm twitching like Dalton. I'm licking my gums like. Oh yeah. I keep taking a sip every 10 minutes of tea.
You ever play the drums, man? Let's get some shit done today, bro.
Yeah. That sounds cool. I know that the farmers like chew on the leaves as they're harvesting it.
That's what I tried while I was there too. Like I tried just because the little people there like on the sidelines will just sell you a bag of the stuff too. Coca leaves. And I think I bought one of those too and just tried chewing on it on the trip. It was terrible. And I didn't feel like it was like any crazier than a cup of coffee or anything. It just.
But it did something to you? I mean, obviously
maybe,
it did something.
a little bit, yeah. Maybe I didn't have enough. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to put more in my mouth.
Yeah, maybe next time try that.
I'm surprised there isn't some sort of a dip version, cocaine dip.
They probably do have that.
Probably. Who knows?
Isn't I don't know if this is true or if like this is anti-tobacco propaganda. But is there shavings of glass in dip so that tobacco enters your bloodstream or something? I was told that in high school by like the drug dog or something. Some fucking liar who's made me afraid of it.
Luckily, I have Google up right now because I was looking up a Russian basketball story. Is there
glass in dip?
And chewing
tobacco. I was in kindergarten the first time I had an encounter with tobacco. Do you know in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, that there's like something called Fort Fun, I think it's called?
The like playground?
The big playground, the big wooden playground?
Yeah, I used to go there when I was a kid.
I lived at an apartment. What is Google saying? Is there glass?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's a myth. Yeah.
Fucking assholes. You know what? That's the problem with the anti-drug and anti-tobacco campaigns in schools. They just lie to children. Why not just tell them the facts? It doesn't matter. Anyways, I lived in an apartment community outside of Fort Fun when I was in like kindergarten. And I walked over there to play at Fort Fun by myself. And there were some older kids there. And they had what I now know today to be a large bag of pipe tobacco. And they were eating it. And they said to me, they called me over and they said, "Hey, you want some?" And I'm in kindergarten. And I said, "What is it?" And they said, "It's chocolate."
Oh, no.
And I ate some.
Chocolate.
It was terrible tasting. I ran home crying and to my mother, and she's like, "What did you eat? What did you eat?" And I couldn't tell her. I said, "Chocolate? I don't know." And there was a little piece of tobacco on my lip, and she identified it as tobacco. And by the time she went out there, those kids were gone.
Oh, Jesus. The old tobacco gang.
And I've been addicted to nicotine ever since.
Yeah, I guess one time will do it.
One time will do it, yeah.
That's a sad story.
Yeah, 25 years later, I have dreams about cigarettes.
My brother only smoked weed. Well, for one time for like many, many years. He's maybe smoked it 2 or 3 times, but he got caught his very first time smoking weed by the cops in Guttenberg. And they didn't like convict him because I think the weed was like just shitty grass weed. I don't even know where they got that. I mean, they were young, like 13 years old, and they thought they had some weed, and they went down into like a little area by the river where there's like these little shanties, and some of them are abandoned, I think. And so they went in one of those, and a cop saw them and walked down a little bit later and was like listening in on him and heard them all coughing or something, and then walked in. But then, it turns out I don't even think it was real weed or anything. I think they had some shit, and I think they just got a warning or something.
Damn.
But for years, he was just too scared to ever smoke it or anything. And I think I got him to smoke it like once or twice that we were together in these years, many, many years or whatever later.
I've never done a drug. My uncle smoked weed one time, and now he's dead.
That's what it does to you. It's cool. I mean, except that it also improves your memory too. That's what I heard.
That's why you can't remember things like mid-sentence. You start forgetting things.
Well, I mean,
why are you stomping?
What were we talking about? Oh man, have you been watching any good YouTube lately?
Most recently, the only thing I can remember is MrBeast just broke 100 mil.
Ooh, that's honestly
thanks to us. We kind of made.
We've been blowing him up lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't seen one of his videos in a month or two. Probably I kind of fell off a little bit.
Well, he did this really interesting thing.
Probably around 60, 70 million. I don't know.
He made this video. And a couple things went wrong in it. It was still a really good video, but a couple things went wrong with it. So he decided to totally scrap the video. He didn't post it on his channel.
Sure.
But Ludwig, I don't know if you know who Ludwig is. He's a very popular streamer. He's over on YouTube now. Ludwig was in that video, and Ludwig was like, wouldn't it be funny if I posted it on my channel with no context? Okay. So an entirely edited MrBeast video went up on Ludwig's channel.
That's interesting.
And then just a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday even, MrBeast gave away another island.
I heard about that for the 100 million subscribers.
Right.
He gave the 100 millionth subscriber.
Well, the title is that he gave the 100 millionth subscriber an island.
Okay.
But in actuality, he brought 100 people who were his subscribers to this island to compete, and one of them got the island. But in that video, he announced like 100 million subscriber merch, and if you buy his merch, you're entered into a drawing, and if you win the drawing, he has made another video that he's not uploading to his main channel, and you get to watch the video. But you're like the only one that gets to see it. Isn't that a weird prize?
What?
He spends millions of dollars on these videos. It's nuts. You'd have to be a super fan.
There's got to be like a gimmick or something. Like when you get there and you're watching it, like something happens, like money's flying at you or something.
I have no idea.
Right?
I have no idea. The way I think about it is it's just an unlisted video on his YouTube, and you get the link to it.
I'm gonna probably have to start watching MrBeast again because my favorite YouTube channel is no more now.
I heard about that. Uh-oh. We literally were just talking about SteveWillDoIt last week.
I know, and I'm secretly I'm a SteveWillDoIt fanboy. I've been watching his videos for the last month or two.
It's no secret that you're a fanboy. You talk about him constantly. Did I talk about it once? But SteveWillDoIt has been kicked off of YouTube. 3 days ago, his channel was deleted for violating community guidelines.
Do you know why?
All they said was they sent him an email
Right.
saying that he was violating community guidelines. They didn't specify which guidelines were broken. They never do.
Right.
And because it's happened so many times, they took down his channel. They have a 3-strike system at YouTube.
Right.
And it's not 3 strikes over the length of your YouTube career. It's 3 strikes in a given time frame.
Right.
So if you can just be cool for a few months, you can fuck up again, like without repercussion. But he fucked up 3 times in, I don't know, 3 months or 6 months or.
I'm curious because the speculation is he was promoting gambling on his channel, and I know like a lot of times that he was gambling, it was in different countries where it was legal to do that kind of gambling, but I just don't know.
I don't think that's why.
I don't know if who knows if that's the real reason or not. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he had talked about having a strike or 2 previous to this.
Right.
So I'm also assuming that had to be a factor as well. Maybe 1 or 2 strikes from a long time ago were still on his record. And I don't know, I'm also curious if it's just some kind of, weird YouTube algorithm or it's just people complaining about him that they're reporting him for this and that.
Well, I didn't watch his last video, the video that got his channel deleted. Mm-hmm. I know you can access it somewhere.
Right.
But I heard that video was him in another country with some rapper.
Tekashi 696.
Oh, it was 6ix9ine?
Yeah.
So he does a video with 6ix9ine, and then the video has gambling, and it has like scantily clad women, and it has a lot of guns in it. And
to tell you the truth, I'm pretty sure I saw that video. I don't remember guns, but first of all,
I've never seen it. This is all hearsay. I don't know.
They like give like $20,000, or it was in pesos, so I don't know what it is in pesos, but to
$7
to some mother who had 2 autistic children, But on the other hand, he was doing a ton of gambling, like on his phone and stuff, and he has a ton of videos where he shows himself gambling online, gambling on his phone. I don't know. That's just a speculation that a bunch of people are already starting to post videos about, like, why did this happen? And the only thing he's been posting is like he has like a comment on YouTube, the creators link or something, saying my account got banned. It says I was, he said I didn't break any of the rules, what happened. And then they said, we sent you an email of why and all this shit.
How much do you know about the gambling company he's involved with? Stake.
Huh? I don't know.
There's a gambling company called Stake, and it's based in Curacao. Ooh. Curacao is like a British colonial island where rules and tax law doesn't really apply.
Sure.
So this gambling company is based in this island, and it's a crypto gambling site, and it's very easy to sign up. You can sign up from, let's say, like California, and
I don't mean to interrupt you, but randomly, I think Black Hawk County here in Colorado has like completely open gambling. It's like one of the only states or counties that has. We'll have to look up what exactly that rule is, but it might be similar to what you're talking about. That's why I thought about it, but. Anyways.
Well, this is more like they you can sign up from anywhere in the world, and you can dump your cryptocurrency into this site, and you can lose it all.
Ah.
If you win, which I mean is just unlikely because it's a gambling thing.
Yeah.
Withdrawing that money becomes a bit harder depending on where you live. If you're in a country or a state that doesn't allow gambling, you're legally not allowed to withdraw the money.
Sure.
So there's one issue. The second issue is that Stake, let's say I'm sponsoring you, like they sponsor Aiden Ross or someone like that, and you're going to play Stake for 4 hours on stream tonight.
Right.
They give you the money to play with.
Right.
And you get to keep whatever you win or lose, but it doesn't really matter.
I'm sure he was doing that kind of shit too.
Well, here's the thing. SteveWillDoIt has a bigger involvement with Stake than someone who just gets sponsored.
Right.
There have been a lot of people who speculate that he's like he's actually friends with the founder of Steak, and he has a much larger involvement than these other people do.
Sure.
Like, Steak has even sponsored Drake. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't.
Drake has done sponsored posts where, like, he's at an NBA game and he's playing Steak on his phone or something. And that dude's already a billionaire.
I for sure believe Steve is doing that kind of shit. I know I haven't really read it up in detail, but I know YouTube was not the only reason he was making so much money.
Exactly.
He
Something else was going
had
on.
sponsors. He had deals going on that most people don't know about. But it's very interesting because, first of all, that guy has a lot of money already. Like, he's already made millions. He's already got the finances to do whatever he wants in life. He could also lose everything and the money could stop coming in, but it's going to be interesting to see, is he going to go on some kind of, him and Trump are going to get together and start their own YouTube, That's like, I don't know.
He can already post to something like Rumble, or this one I heard about yesterday is called Odyssey.
Huh.
Odyssey is a video platform that is based on a coin called Library.
That's what I was saying. Like, what's the crypto YouTube that's going to come out next, where they start paying people out a little better, and people slowly start flooding over there? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to pray for YouTube's downfall all the time, but right now I'm just thinking too big to fail. Like, they're allowed to do whatever they want because
it's Google.
They're owned by Google. So when somebody Googles something, I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but when you go to Google something now, the first 3 results are usually videos. Because I don't, if it's just younger generation or people are more prone to seek out videos or learn from videos now, but Google has adjusted their search engine to show 3 videos before a search result now. And since they own YouTube, those are YouTube videos. Those videos aren't going to be from Rumble or Odyssey.
Right.
They're going to be YouTube videos. So you want YouTube to go, you got to kill Google somehow.
I know. It's like you're competing against the biggest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
So interesting. I'm interested to see what happens next. I mean, maybe he files for appeal, but I haven't heard a whole lot of people winning those appeals against YouTube.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty not good for that guy. I don't know. I'm also curious, like, could somebody start their own website and be as successful?
Anyone who's large enough on YouTube probably also has a Patreon where they upload videos anyway.
Right.
So I'm sure he probably already has that. He probably already has a way for his dedicated fans to access his videos.
We need to get on our Patreon account again and our OnlyFans account. We haven't been on there in a while.
Yeah, I haven't uploaded anything to OnlyFans in a few weeks.
I know the fans have been kind of bummed out. They keep requesting our expertise.
Our feet pics.
Angry boy.
It's crazy how many of you want us to stomp on birthday cakes. It's super weird.
We still got to make that video of angry man foot pics or whatever.
Yeah. Rude boy foot pics.
Oh man, that is an actual eBay sale. All right, we looked up weird eBay sales, and that was a legit sold listing of an angry guy. He's like 4 or 5 pictures. One, he's flicking you off.
Not angry. He was a rude boy.
He was very rude. He wouldn't pose nicely.
No.
He was rude. He had his clothes on though. Just his feet were right by the camera.
My feet would definitely sell more than your feet.
Well,
I imagine you're flat-footed.
But my blonde hair almost seems like I don't even have hair, and I think that's going to be.
I literally don't have hair.
You shave
Low
your
T. It's perfect for me.
Smooth as a baby.
You know what? I want more low T pride out there.
Oh no, I'm trying to get more tea. I'm over here watching David Goggins. You know who David Goggins is?
Yeah.
If you don't know, he was Army guy who is pretty much a couple marbles loose, right? And he does these crazy workouts. He runs a 100-mile
breaking
marathons.
bones in his body as he runs
Yeah.
100 miles.
He did do some really crazy things, like breaking the Guinness Book of World Records for like most pull-ups in a minute, and some really, maybe most pull-ups ever or something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'll have to look it up, but the guy like is literally a little nutty, and I've been watching one of his challenges that he's putting out, which is 48 miles in 48 hours running. Which means how he does it was, or how he recommends you do this, is 4 miles every 4 hours. And that means you got to get up in the middle of the night and run too.
48 miles in 48 hours. 4 miles.
For 2 days.
4 miles per hour?
4 miles every 4 hours.
That doesn't make sense. That's no problem. A mile an hour? You can do a 15-minute mile.
Yeah.
Also, if you're running 4 miles in 4 hours...
You think running 48 miles in 40 hours is easy?
No. What I'm telling you is that what you just said doesn't make sense.
Why?
If you're only running a mile an hour,
yeah,
that means you have to stay up for 48 hours. You have to stay up for 2 days to run 48.
That's why he's breaking it up in chunks.
You can't break it up in chunks if you're only doing a mile an hour. If you do
You do 4 miles at a time.
In 4 hours?
No. You do 4 miles
in 1 hour.
You get it done, and then you have 4 hours till your next time you run again.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
because you said
you're running like a 9-minute mile or something.
Yeah, you said 4 miles in 4 hours, and I was like, that's
4 miles every. But it's a mile an hour, but you break it down into blocks. 4 miles every 4 hours. But you run the 4 right away. That's why it sounds weird.
It's still. Oh, I see what you're saying. See what you're saying. So every 4 hours, you bust out 4 miles. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take you 4 hours to do 4 miles.
No, you do it, then you rest for
It takes you like
3 hours.
30 minutes to an hour to do 4 miles, right. And then you get to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You think you can do it?
I don't think that currently I could do it, but I think it's super doable. How long is a marathon?
Well, I mean,
20 miles?
Depends on what kind of marathon. You're talking about David Goggins' marathon? Because he does like 100-mile marathons, dude.
No.
Let me look this up. Let me look up his pull-up record real quick, because
I'm going to look up how many miles a marathon is and how long it takes someone to do it. Because I think that it would be like a back-to-back marathon.
An accomplished endurance athlete, Goggins has completed over 60 ultra marathons, triathlons, and ultra triathlons. He setting new course records and regularly placing the top 5. He once held the Guinness World Record for pull-ups, completing 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours. And he's a sought-after public speaker.
I'm going to blow your mind right now.
That blew my mind. Have you ever... I don't think I've done 4,000 pull-ups my whole life.
No, I don't think I've done 4 pull-ups my whole life. Okay, so a marathon is 26.2 miles, okay? Mm-hmm. Guess what the average time of running that is?
I would say 9 times 25. Jeez, we're at 2.5 hours. 3 hours.
Oh, I thought you were going to guess way higher. It's 4 hours and 21 minutes is the average time to run a marathon.
Okay.
Which means 48 miles. That's more than half of 48 miles. Which means he should be able to run 48 miles in like 9 hours.
You don't have to run it fast.
Right.
I'm just saying, once you start getting up to 20 miles and one day's done, imagine day 2. You know what I mean? Like, you've got blisters on your feet.
Yeah.
Your hips are hurting.
What's this challenge for? Is he just recommending everyone start doing
I think that might have
24
been
miles a day?
maybe one of his training regimens when he was getting ready for a marathon or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't just run 100 miles in one day. So you can obviously try to run 10, 20, 30 miles at once or something, or you can break it up even more. So I don't know. It's just kind of a little training challenge for you.
Interesting.
And what would really suck too is having to get up in the middle of the night and having to run, and then trying to nap, and then getting up in the morning and having to run, right?
Yeah, it
nap,
seems a weird way to do that.
Go for lunch, go for a run, nap.
I guess you only have to wake up in the middle of the night one time.
Yeah, kind of. Depends on if you schedule it right.
Yeah. Interesting.
The David Goggins challenge. Yeah, I've been thinking about doing it. I've been watching.
I think you could do it without much of an issue.
I run like a 2.5 mile run, maybe like once a week, maybe twice a week or something like that. But even that, I feel kind of sore and stuff, so I can't imagine like. But I'm also sprinting at the end, so if I'm just running a little jog, it's totally doable. It's totally doable. I'm just wondering what day 2 would be like, man. Day 2, you're just like those last 4 sessions or whatever just got to be stupid. I've been watching a lot of this YouTube series called The Daisy Fresh Diaries, and it's kind of a funny name, I know. I'm trying to think of why they call it Daisy Fresh. I think one of the guys' name was Daisy. Anyways, it's basically a documentary filmed on flow grappling, and flow grappling is a really well-renowned media cover for jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and anything kind of martial art too. And there's a huge YouTube presence, and they're starting to do these like mini films that are really good. And there's probably 10 episodes, maybe 45 minutes each of this documentary. And it's this little jiu-jitsu gym in Mount Vernon, Illinois. And like I have a gym that's like beautiful, great mats, everything's clean. And these guys are training on these old wrestling mats that are just decrepit, beat up. You can hardly even see the top layer now because like it's been beat off so much. And just like Cody's dick.
Just like my dick. Just like it.
Bazinga.
But you know, the thing about all that scar tissue on your penis is you last a lot longer.
I bet, man. I bet your dick just looks like a big scar.
It does. What are those like nodes on a scar that happen? Like the little bumps on a
scab?
No. Like
Your
some people have scars
scab.
And they get like bumps in them if they're bad enough.
Your new nickname is Dick Scab, by the way.
Dick Scab?
Anyways, these guys, they're training on this shitty mat, and the guy that started this gym, there's like 1 or 2 black belts that started it, and it was an old laundry mat that is abandoned. Like there's no hot water, and they couldn't put washing machines in it anymore. So the guy called him up, and he's like, would you work out $500 a month and let us do jiu-jitsu in here? And they're like, yeah. And he lets these athletes sleep on the mat. So there's 10, 20 guys living in this gym. They get up in the morning and train, eat, train.
Shower?
Maybe. Bro, the cleanliness of this is super questionable. But the first guy that kind of came up, our biggest the black belt that's been coming up, been killing the scene, and the guy lives at the gym, right? And when COVID happened, they all thought they became rich with stimulus checks, and like the black belt bought a bunch of wood and built like a shed attached to the gym on the side of it, and he's living in this like shed on the side. And some other guys bought like some vans to live in, so they're living in vans in front. And eventually they ended up getting like fighter houses, so the like higher belts get to live in the fighter houses, and then now the lower belts have to live in the gym, and you have to earn your way into the fighter house. And these guys are just, eventually it gets into the stories of all these people and like why they're here, and you start finding out like these guys are coming from nothing. You know what I mean? This one guy's coming from Nicaragua, and he tells a story about how he was kidnapped when he was a kid and his dad had to get him back, and finally his grandpa's farm was taken by the government. They just killed his grandpa, stole his land, and his grandma took the kids and went to America with him. And then he went to the army and all this shit and found jiu-jitsu in the army, and now he's fucking living in a van in the gym, man, and just living the jiu-jitsu life every day. And this other guy, they call him the Hillbilly Hammer. He's used to live in this piece of shit trailer, and he had a drug-addicted mother who left him with his babysitter for 2 days. His babysitter finally calls up his grandma. Was like, I didn't want to tell you, but mom didn't show up for the past 2 days. I've been taking care of this kid. So grandma gets full custody, and then eventually I think he gets old enough to leave, but his little sister ends up going back to the mom. Mom got custody, and then mom failed drug tests, so little sister gets put back in foster care. She runs away. So at this time he had moved to the gym, and he's like, I'm just going to live the gym, but he doesn't get to see his sister, and she's finally back into some kind of foster care. And you're just like, like this backstory for all these guys, like the black belt that I told you about, that he's amazing black belt who lives at the gym and all that. His mom is a fucking kooky crystal dealer, and
meth.
Crystal, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Crazy rock people, man.
Yeah.
And he was telling stories like she would call us wizards and healers, and she would grind up rocks and make us eat rocks and say these are going to heal you up and stuff like that. Dude, so yeah, man, all these guys have the craziest backstory. Basically, like, they had to get out of their lives, and now they're just living and training every day. But there's like a happy ending here, because they have like the craziest camaraderie ever. Like, I have a jiu-jitsu gym, I have a team, we compete, we cheer for each other, but it's like these guys are a unit. They go in together, and they're trying to win the highest level tournaments, and they finally are. Which they are an American jiu-jitsu team, and there's this whole Brazilian jiu-jitsu versus American jiu-jitsu now, and it's very interesting because Brazil wants to claim jiu-jitsu for themselves. In reality, they got it from Japan, but for some reason everybody calls it BJJ now, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and they have like the most prestigious tournaments. If you want to get ranked in the world, you have to do the Brazilian tournaments, and they're run by Brazilians. And to tell you the truth, I've done it before. The Brazilians are like douchebags to the Americans. Like, they're super strict, and they just act like assholes to you. And I've heard stories of like people saying, if you don't speak Brazilian, I won't talk to you and shit like that. And anyways, so there's this like American jiu-jitsu versus Brazilian jiu-jitsu thing coming up now. And these guys are like almost like representing the America right now, and like just starting to whoop everybody, man. And it's pretty cool to watch what they're doing, because they're just living this life, man. They don't have any money, you know what I mean? They go to the freaking food pantry and get expired food and live off the expired food from grocery stores that they give it to the food pantry. I mean, it's just wild what these guys are doing.
I don't understand. Obviously, there's like this huge issue in Brazilian jiu-jitsu with making money, or in jiu-jitsu with making money, right?
Well, I mean,
I even hear it about people at like the highest levels who have a day job.
Correct. There's even UFC too.
That's what I'm saying.
Hasn't really. You see baseball, football, basketball. These guys are making millions of dollars a year. And then you see the UFC champion, the current UFC heavyweight champion. His last fight, he knocked the guy out and won like $500,000. Not even $1 million. So, and then he's also got fees, and he's got to pay his coaches, and by the end he hasn't hardly made anything, you know.
And then when he retires, he's going to need to. His medical bills are going to be crazy.
Exactly. So, there's a couple of reasons for this. Like in boxing, boxers get paid a lot. There's the Muhammad Ali law, which I believe Muhammad Ali brought this into action. But all boxing promotions have to pay at least 50% of the profits of the show to the fighters by law. And there's no law like that in MMA.
Okay.
So the promoters can give you as much as they want. And the UFC could definitely give more money to the fighters, but obviously profits are profits, and there's no law saying they can't. So that's the spiel on why fighters. Jiu-jitsu is very similar, and there just isn't a big enough scene yet. There is a one or two or three very prominent professional shows now that are popping up, and they are starting to pay the fighters fairly well, and that's largely due to sponsorships. And as these sponsorships and jiu-jitsu grows, then the money will keep growing as well. It's a very new sport, really, and relatively. I mean, there's always been judo and wrestling, and now there's this combined thing that's really been around for only 50, 100 years of actual being coined jiu-jitsu. So I'm looking forward to it. I've done a couple pro cards, and the crazy thing was I made more in the jiu-jitsu cards than I did most of my MMA fights, and I didn't get punched at all. But I just happened to be on a very, very good show that had amazing sponsors, and Flow Grappling, the people that I'm telling you that have these great documentaries, they sponsor that show as well and pay the athletes very well. So, and with that promotion, every win you have, you keep coming back and winning, you get like an extra 10% every time or something like that on top of your normal fight pay or something. So there is like incentives and bonuses the more and more you fight.
Cool.
You know what I mean? But it's nothing to live off of for the most part. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson was a UFC champion at 125.
That's the one who I always hear about, who also worked construction.
Not construction. He's actually, I thought you'd heard of him because he actually does a lot of gaming.
Oh.
And but the crazy thing about him, he was one of the most dominant UFC champions for years, and defending his belt multiple times. But on his up and coming, he had a full-time job until he became the UFC champion, which that means you're still trying to train twice a day, and also he was working some computer tech job or something like that, but now he actually got traded from the UFC to one championship in China, and China has a lot more 125 pounders, and so he's been getting, I think he got offered to get paid a lot more, whereas in the UFC he wasn't drawing as much money. He wasn't like a trash talker or anything. Even though he defended his belt every time, I guess he wasn't entertaining enough.
Did you see Logan Paul's WWE performance?
I did.
I heard it was really good.
Just a TikTok. Not bad.
I heard like he really put on a show and people liked him.
Honestly, that might be his thing. I would much rather see that than boxing, because I don't believe that he's actually boxing most of these. I mean, maybe the YouTubers, sure, but bro, Tyrone Woodley, who his brother knocked out, that guy is an animal. I mean, animal. And there's not I have no doubt in my mind that he was paid to take the fall. I guarantee it. Tyrone Woodley, I mean,
you don't think he would have? He wasn't a boxer before.
No, definitely not.
And
definitely
he was
not.
retired, and he was out of shape, right?
Well, you might be thinking of Ben Askren.
Oh, I am thinking of Ben Askren.
Ben Askren was the one that was, he literally just came off of a surgery, and he looked like he had just got done drinking for the past couple of years.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And both guys weren't boxers. Both guys were wrestlers. Ben Askren never became the UFC champion. He is the champion of Bellator for many years, and then got traded over and tried to work his way up and only had 4 or 5 fights and won some, lost some.
Okay.
Got brutally knocked out in like 5 seconds, and I think he retired after that. Basically, he's known for getting knocked out the fastest in UFC history now.
Love
Anyways,
that for him.
They called him out for that fight, yeah, and I mean, yeah, he was at. To tell you the truth, I think Ben Askren could actually beat him up too, but Tyrone is a whole nother animal. And what's interesting too is Ben Askren trains with Tyrone. Like, those guys train together in Milwaukee. So you got to be thinking like, yo, Ben, how much money did you make on that? Oh yeah, dude, you want to make some money too?
For sure.
Come on, bro. And I believe Ben would beat him too if he actually really wanted to. But Tyrone, on the other hand, that dude is an animal. That dude was a UFC champion, defended his belt many times. And he was a wrestler, but he was like a national champion wrestler, and has knocked out a couple people in his life too. Like, he's a scary, scary man. And for somebody who, dude, it's just to watch the fight, and then you see there's this weird. I've probably mentioned before, but Tyrone does this thing with his, or no, not Tyrone. Paul, the Paul brother,
Paul. Does
this weird. I've fought so many times, and I've never seen this little weird thing with your backhand. Like it's you know what I mean. It's like you're telegraphing like, it's time, I'm gonna knock you out now.
Although you are a clearly more experienced fighter than me, you are also prone to conspiracy.
True. I will say, in this one, this is not some like random conspiracy I saw on TikTok either. This is me creating my own conspiracy.
Okay.
And this is based on my own life of fighting all my life.
Right.
So if any of all the conspiracies to believe, I would say Tyrone getting paid to take the fall. We're going to hear in a couple of years when he writes his book. And because here's the thing, Ben Askren and Tyrone both publicly came out and said they made more money in that than they did any of their entire career. So, yeah, you're making, before you were lucky to make a couple $100,000, and now you just made a couple million.
Yeah.
For getting punched with some big old fat pillow gloves. That's what I'm saying, man.
But back to his WWE thing, I heard like genuine WWE fans loved it. Like, he put on a good show.
He's a very athletic dude who can do good. Also,
he's a natural entertainer. Like, that's undeniable.
He can do the full splits. I'm not saying they're not like athletes. You know, they wrestled in high school, but
yeah,
they didn't do anything like
in his. I only watched a little bit of the WWE thing, but I didn't realize what a monster. Like, his body is insane. Yeah,
he's a lot more yoked than his brother. I think his brother, I don't know, must have a bad diet or something. He kind of lets him get a little fat.
Bad diet, and then
drugs.
I don't know, some neurodivergence or something.
He's a little bit more. He's a little wacky, isn't he?
There's something wrong with that one.
Yeah, Logan seems kind of normal, and then the other.
There's talk about Logan fighting Andrew Tate.
Who's that? I can't remember who.
Andrew Tate is this like latest flavor of like men's health guru type deal. Just like he says inflammatory things.
I know who we're talking about. This guy is a chauvinist, male prick kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, always putting down women in all of his fucking videos, and
there's always like, dude, every like I've heard it called like maybe it's like every summer there's a new one. There's a new like alpha fucking male who like is going to sell you a course on how to become a money maker and a chick getter. Well, this is like this year's flavor.
I did hear that guy used to box.
He used to be a kickboxer. Yeah. He's like a 2-time world champion kickboxer.
So that is interesting, but I'm also not exactly like convinced that guy wouldn't take a bribe either, though.
He is insanely wealthy.
He is wealthy, true.
And he has this like crazy reputation to uphold. I 100%,
True.
even though I hate him, he would not take a bribe. No shot.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll be a good fight.
I would watch that fight.
I would too.
I would love to see. Because look, it's two villains going against each other. Whoever loses, it's going to be awesome.
I don't want either one to win, really.
I'm looking forward to someone losing.
I hope they both punch each other and they both go out at the same time.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. I've seen that guy's videos. I'm just like, you're just trying to get attention.
The
man.
problem is that like any normal functioning adult male would look at him and go, this is someone with deep insecurity. This is like, this guy is actually just a sad excuse for a human being, and he's toting it off as being like the alpha man. But, you know, like a nerdy, like piece of shit, like a socially awkward high school boy is going to look up to that and be like, oh, I wish I could be like him. He's got a Bugatti. He's got a hot girlfriend. He's making millions.
Yeah, girls do belong in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
He says shit like that, man. He's like,
Yeah.
women want to be subservient to you, man. Like, I'm like, what the shit, man?
It's very sad, and like clearly this, like, he just has issues, but
Yeah,
he's
dude.
used those issues to make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Apparently right now there are 100,000 people signed up for his $50 a month course, which is
Picking up chicks?
$5 million a month is what I was going to say
Oh.
that he makes off this course.
What is he teaching?
Okay, so he's teaching
You bought it, by the way, I'm assuming, right?
He's teaching the
Is it on
alpha
the
male
way?
lifestyle, which is, you know, actually
Can we learn the alpha male lifestyle?
Actually, what
please?
he's teaching is how to become like a drop shipper. But you can make money by signing up for his course by convincing me to sign up for his course. So every person you convince to sign up for the course, you get $25.
Well, I'm going to
upfront.
sign up first, and then you got to come up, sign up off of me, okay?
What did I just describe, though? I described a pyramid scheme.
I know.
This guy is a multi-level marketing.
Is that really how it's set up?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so you're incentivized to be like, oh, this course is fucking awesome. I'm making money. You have to say that because you're trying to convince other people to sign up under your link.
Wow.
But it's just like,
Not that I'm against, like, a referral link, but I don't know about I don't know how that's working there. I don't know.
it's working. He's got over 100,000 people signed up for it right now.
Let's get on this bandwagon, dude. Climb the triangle.
Yeah. We're at like the bottom floor of the triangle. That dude's star is falling. His time has passed. He's
gonna knock out the Paul brothers, and then his stock skyrockets.
It's after this year. I think it's pretty much over for Andrew Tate.
Oh,
His
we'll
name's
see.
already like declining.
Well, it can't be any worse than SteveWillDoIt right now. Jeez Louise. I can't imagine. I wonder what that guy's doing now. Probably drinking himself to sleep.
Andrew Tate was just on the Nelk Boys podcast.
Oh,
I don't think SteveWillDoIt was there, but SteveWillDoIt used to be a Nelk Boy.
true. Huh. Interesting.
More like manosphere, like kind of losers, the Nelk Boys. Like their whole thing is just partying. You can
Yeah.
only sell partying for so long. When you're 40 and you're still trying to sell like this partying lifestyle, it's gonna look pathetic.
That's right.
Your content needs to evolve. You need to show some growth, otherwise people won't care about your story.
We've talked a bit about this with a couple other channels. You know, you get stuck in a corner almost, like
Yeah.
this is your channel, and we've even talked about like
Leonhardt.
that obviously that comes to mind, and we talked about ours too. Like, what do we want to load up, and how do we get our audience? And if I load up something that's completely different from the last video, is that going to completely turn my audience off now? And I don't know. I kind of wish I could just upload everything into one channel and it'd be all cool, but apparently algorithms and shit.
Who knows?
I don't know.
It's fun though.
What's fun?
YouTube.
You make me do this. You. This isn't fun. I'm forced here every day.
Yeah.
You guys don't understand off the scenes. Like, he's yelling at me.
That they 100% would believe that. Knowing our relationship, they believe that for sure.
I'm scared. I have to bring Brittney here to protect me.
All right. Well, unless you have something you need to say right now.
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes. I do have one random thing.
Okay.
This might even turn into our cold intro. Have you heard about the Subway promotion?
No, the Subway sandwich promotion?
Yeah.
No.
This year, till the end of the year, if you get a Subway tattoo on your back, they give you free sandwiches, depending on how big the tattoo is.
For life?
Hear me out.
Okay.
If you get a tattoo like this big, I don't know, they give you like a week's worth of sandwiches. You get like one this big, you get like a month's worth. You get one the size of your back, they give you a lifetime supply of Subway sandwiches.
I think that would honestly be worth it.
Bro, I mean, if you never have to worry, you could always just stop in a Subway. I can't imagine how weird this. Check it out, and you have to tell a show.
No, that's not how it would work.
Well, you think they give you a card?
I think they would give you a card.
No, you have to show. Check it out. That if that was it, we should get fake tattoos of it, and you just put a big old. Well, then you have to buy a bunch of fake tattoos for sandwiches.
Yeah.
Anyways, should we get Subway tattoos and get free sandwiches for life?
A full coverage back tattoo is probably going to be a couple grand.
It's pretty basic, and I feel like the tattoo artist would be super down to get on that story, by the way.
Oh, so you think he would cut you a deal for a little cross promotion?
Like, bro, we're going to post this everywhere, and everybody's going to see that you got me subs for life, and then maybe they'll want to come to you and get the same tattoo.
I really do think, because subs for life means free food for life.
Yeah. How many subs can you eat? I could eat one every day.
Yeah, certainly.
I've never gotten a tattoo.
You probably couldn't handle it.
It would be hilarious if my first tattoo was a giant. And you have to get like the year, like it's like Subway promotion 2022 or something. Like it has like a what it is you have to get.
Interesting.
I know, dude.
All right, we're gonna look into this and
we're gonna
get back
call
to
a couple
guys.
tattoo shops up. It would make a great video. I mean, you want to go viral? I bet we'd go viral for getting Subway tats. We might even make the news, boy.
Just think of the money you'd save throughout your life, though.
Economically, it makes so much sense.
Yes.
I mean, am I selling my body?
It would be so great if you became like a good like jiu-jitsu person. So you're constantly in the ring and on film, and your back just says Subway. It's got a big picture of Jared.
Subway.
You forget that Jared's like a convicted child pornographer.
Yeah, don't get a picture of Jared on your back. Whatever you do, right? That guy's in prison, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, yeah.
All right, guys. Next time you see us, we're gonna get some sick tats.
All right.
Do you have anything on your back right now?
Yeah, but
we're gonna have to cover that up.
We'll cover that up.
Lasers.
No problem.